Sorry. They count you for anyone outside. Oh. Barb was sitting there.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're going to get started. And just an announcement that everyone, that only delegates and alternates substituting for a delegate can sit in the designated area. Others, please sit with residents over there. Thank you. Please silence your cell phones. Thank you. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Bertha, do we have a quorum? Okay, thank you. Alan, can you read the minutes in the previous meeting?
The minutes of the October delegates meeting are printed in the Cobrua Reporter November edition. Has anyone found any additions, corrections, or omissions from those printed minutes? Is there any objection to accepting those minutes as published in the Cobrua Reporter?
Yes, the person objecting is... You're accepting? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go over my report initially here. And I want to talk about insurance, which is the largest line item that we will have in our associations. And the insurance committee met with all three different companies, and we're waiting for proposals from two of the companies. Once we receive the proposal, the committee will then determine which plan is best. And when that is determined, the committee will present it to our associations. We expect to receive a 10% reduction from premiums on both property as well as liability. It will be a while before we have the exact premiums from the underwriters. It always comes a little late. And hope everyone is enjoying the cooler weather that we've been having without the humidity. However, we still have 3 more weeks of hurricane season, so let's be hopeful that we don't see any. Hope you all enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. We all have a lot to be thankful for, and it's hard to believe that Christmas and Hanukkah is right around the corner. Time goes so fast, and hope you and yours enjoy the holiday season. Thank you. Okay. Ted? Okay, you have to read, Lynn's not here, so you have to do the treasurer's report.
Okay, the treasurer's report. It's not working.
Is there a question in the front row?
Good morning. My name is Pietro Giacalone. I understood some of this situation with the acquisition of the clubhouse and all the amenities. I have a question. Right now, all the association.
Okay, right, excuse me, sir. Right now, you're out of order. You could bring that up in good and welfare, okay?
He's not a
but right-
delegate.
Not right now.
He's
Let me finish my
delegate.
question.
I'm sorry, what?
He's not a delegate.
Let
He's not a delegate?
may I finish my
No.
No, sir, no, sir, okay?
He's not a delegate.
And you're not a delegate, so you should be sitting over there.
Yes, come back here with me.
Get out.
I want to come again.
I'd like to move forward here, so. Okay, Ted, will you read the treasurer's report, please?
Thank you. The month-ending balance, $21,246 in checking. The CD was $28,467.
Microphone.
Month-ending balance, the checking account, $21,247. CD, $28,468. Total of $49,715. Last month's balance, checking was $28,808. CD, $28,761, for a total of $50,568. So almost the same last month as this month.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Okay, Stanley, would you go over the M&O committee report?
I'm trying to get my composure back after the incident. The entire committee met with management Wednesday, October 16th. Present for management was Judy Milken, Vice President of SendWest and the site administrator, and Dan Cruz, Facilities Manager. There are some adjustments that still have to be completed to correct the drainage problem in front of the clubhouse. The main water meter at the north gate has been removed. The one probably at the south gate should have been removed by now, and eventually they're going to start on metering the buildings. Management again checked with Lakewood Drainage. Our weir is going to be replaced during this budget period, and the current weir met specifications. Decals for friends and family is progressing quite well. With the snowbirds returning, we hope sales will pick up. Smoking under the walkway awnings is prohibited, so we hope everyone who's a smoker will cooperate and not smoke under the awning. Management will be checking with DOT regarding bicycles and which lanes they should go. Also on the safety hazards of the bicycles with batteries. So this eventually we'll get some answers for and we'll report on later. Any questions regarding the report?
Okay, so Stanley, you want to go forward with?
Well, there's a question.
Yes. Is a question?
Yeah, I just didn't Suzanne Sheeper, Newcastle. I just didn't understand what you meant. Decals for friends and family are progressing well. I write a report about this for our Newcastle, and I don't know what it means. Like, what does it mean?
We sold so far over 90 decals, and with the snowbirds returning, we hope to sell some more.
Okay, so it's just about sale of decals.
I'm just talking about the sale of decals, so
Okay, well, you didn't say
in our estimation, we feel that's doing quite well.
Okay.
Yeah, decals. Where else do you sell decals?
What's decaf?
Okay.
Sticker to get.
And I'm gonna go back and come home again.
I have a question. Dan Tanzer from Ainsley.
Should be set up front. Which of you guys up there?
Is the budget for M&O, the operational changes, the upgrades, the things you're mentioning,
This
finished?
is not part of my report, so you have to bring it up in good and welfare.
You didn't mention anything to do, you mentioned projects that are moving forward, and that's the heart of my question.
I didn't-
So I think they're appropriate.
Where did
Maybe the chair wants
the
to
only
weigh in
thing
on
I mentioned, we're working on resolving the problem in front of the clubhouse with the water.
Is that part?
That's not part of the budget. So what I'm saying is, your question should be brought up at good and welfare, and I'll be happy to answer it at that point. I'm taking questions regarding my report.
You could have been done by now.
What could have been done by now?
You could have heard my question and answered it by now.
We work on technicalities and.
Yeah, I know.
I like this place. Hey, come on, wait.
A question was brought up last month about decals for cars that are rented. The reason the legal department has rejected giving decals to rented cars is if a rented car causes any damage to property in Century Village, the rental car company will not pay for that damage, and therefore the legal department decided not to give decals to these cars.
Hallelujah.
Next.
Is there any other questions? Stanley Community Affairs?
There's actually really nothing to report additionally. We're waiting for all the buildings going up in the area to be completed, and then we'll try and resolve the traffic problem. So otherwise, nothing new.
Okay. And Comcast cables or anything?
Yeah, the price is going up.
Nothing new with, there's some problems with Wi-Fi at the pools, which we're trying to resolve.
Okay. Thank you. Hot wire, Regina? Anything for hot wire?
Please, you know, I'm trying to work on
I'm here. She's here.
There is really nothing new with Hotwire. Anyone that has an issue, the office behind the temple here is open. Most weekdays 9 to 5. There's a number posted at every building, or there should be, for you to make an appointment with the office if you need a rover to come out for technical support. Other than that, Hotwire is up and running. Community channel is up and running on 99. Any questions? That's it.
Okay. Regina, while you're standing and have the mic, okay, maybe give a synopsis as to what's going on with the elevators.
The elevator cylinder project is underway right now in Exeter. We've had a great response from the people at Exeter, very happy that it's going smoothly. The workers show up. We detained the schedule for Election Day, so we continued yesterday mid-morning on Veterans Day, and Exeter should be finished hopefully this week, right, Ted? Next week, okay.
C&D have been done, A and B were done last week, C&D have been done this week, and the E building will be done.
I'm not hearing
Okay.
Ted.
Okay, I'll repeat it. A and B are done, passed inspection last Friday. C and D are being done this week, hopefully inspection Friday. And then the last building in Exeter will be next week, which will bring us midweek to Suffolk, which is the next association on the schedule. I'd like all residents and presidents to know that this week coming, we will have a complete breakdown of Tri-State's schedule for your association, where our goal is to do one elevator a week, and if we can fit 2 a week in, we'll be ahead of the game, but we're not promising that there'll be 2 done each week. every Friday, whatever work is done in your association will be inspected on Friday. So if they finish one building Monday, Tuesday, and another building Wednesday, Thursday, both those buildings will be inspected that Friday. But we can promise with weather, with scheduling, with holidays, that there'll be 2 elevators every single week. So we're asking you, when your buildings are posted, you'll have plenty of notice to realize you're going to be down for at least a week. And we'll be able, with the help of First Service and the elevator committee, to let every president know that when their buildings are being done way in advance, so people with needs, doctor's appointments, getting water, food, and everything else, getting their mail, will have due notice as to the progress of when their elevator will be down. So far, Oracle and Tri-State are working hand in hand to make this as easy as possible on all residents. So if there's any questions pertaining to the schedule, and when your building cannot be down, after you receive the email from Leah telling you your association and when it will be down, we ask you to respond immediately so we can moderate the schedule according to upcoming holidays or something going on in your building at the same time construction-wise. Okay? Are there any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Are they putting new elevators or?
Do we take questions from Sid?
I have a question. It's not actually a question, it's a compliment. I think that's a great job, Regina.
Thank you.
I think you have, yeah, she does really deserve a round of applause. I mean, to me, it sounds like we have 105 buildings, and so within about 6 months, this entire project should be done. And I'm especially impressed with the fact that you've made advance arrangements for inspections, you know, to be done weekly, so that we don't have to, you know, wait when a building is done to get it inspected. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Ed?
Nobody answered my question, but
It's only cylinders, not a whole
side of here.
cylinders.
Just doing the same. They're not patient with the elevators. Comment, even inside. What's this on?
As the first association to be getting the elevator cylinders work, I just want to let you know this has been a really, really smooth operation due to Regina. Mitch stepped in at some point, Leah with First Service. In the background, there's a lot of work that goes on in the background. My team with our directors and me working in the field, and especially the residents who've accepted this. This has been absolutely smooth. There was only one slight little glitch. Somebody in the C building, or actually a couple of people said, it's election day. We can't have the elevators go down on election day. We really want to vote in our poll on election day. We called off the elevators with Regina and Mitch's help and First Service. We had to wait an additional week. But that was one of those glitches where we worked with the residents. Residents didn't yell at us, didn't complain. They just posted an objection, and we took care of it. So everything is really, really running smooth. As it comes to your time, if you want to question the first person to go through this, feel free to contact me. But Regina, Mitch, First Service team, everybody on the committee, everybody on the board, couldn't believe, I can't believe how smooth this really went because of all the background work that went on beforehand and all the announcements with the robocalls and the notices up on the board and personal interventions with the residents. There were absolutely no problems so far. We still have another week and a half, but everything is really, really smooth. And I hope the same for yours. If you have any questions, everybody's really, really working together on this, and it's an exceptional opportunity for all of us and how we work together. So thank you. Thank you, Ted. Was there any other question?
Mike Solomon, Cornwall. I just wonder, with people having to go up and down those steps that are having real issues, if there's any opportunity for us to get some of these belts, safety belts of some sort, because as you know, when you go to physical therapy, and I think probably all of us have been there, they put a belt around your waist and where they can hold on to keep them from falling. With as many people as we're going to have going up and down steps, I just wonder if there's any possibility. And Regina, wow, what a job.
We did have one question. It wound up it didn't have to take place because of the delay, because of Election Day. But somebody was very concerned. The wife had to go to the hospital for an overnight procedure. The elevator was going to be down. How she would be able to get to the hospital because the elevator would on that particular day, but the next day would be down when she's going to be coming home. Suggestion was contact AMR. They made arrangements with AMR. In the event that she wouldn't be able to get back, and AMR was going to take care of her, be able to walk, get her up the steps, etc. So, as I was saying before, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in anticipation of any situations that may come up. So if you want, contact me when it's your turn, or anybody else that preceded you, so that you can do your background work and have the answers for the residents, and things will go smoothly. Mitch, have you have a question?
Just a comment to the gentleman, so he fully understands, Cornwall is not involved in the program.
Okay. That's it? Okay, thank you. Okay, Milt is going to do a synopsis of what's going on as far as with the Management Search Committee. Milt, I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Milton Fishberger, and I am the president of the Cornwall Association. So I hope you don't mind if I read some of my notes to make it shorter. Some of you in the audience may know that the contract with First Service is expiring on October the 31st of 2025, a little less than a year from now. Several months ago, Charlie Rosenfeld asked me to chair a committee of 6 people to look at management companies so that we can competitively bid out the management for the associations currently being done by First Service. The committee is comprised of the following people: Sid Schwartz, Susan Meltzer, Stanley Siegel, Helene Harris, Dave Merzon, and myself. 4 companies were asked to submit proposals for the committee to review. The committee reviewed each proposal, and 1 company was eliminated so far. The next step in this process is to call in the remaining 3 companies to be interviewed by the committee, which will be completed by November the 25th. The committee will again meet in late November to review all of the interviewed candidates, and then we will present them, the remaining candidates, to the association presidents to determine the best company to go forward with. There will be at least 2 companies that the presidents will have, if not all 3 of them. And that will be the decision made by the committee on how many are going to go forward. The presidents will vote, and then it will go to each association's boards for approval on the recommended vendor. This has been a competitive process with the hope that we come out of this with the best company to help the associations manage their work. If you have any questions, I'll gladly take them.
I do. You have to wait.
Arthur Harris, hi. Which company was eliminated and for what reason, and which of the other management companies are in the running?
All right, I would ask you just to be patient because we are in the middle of the process. The company that has been eliminated has not even been told yet, and because this is being, you will know in December the answer to your question. Mitch? I can tell you, by the way, why it was eliminated. I could do that without naming the company if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
The proposal was very vague. We couldn't really understand it, even though it is a large company, and all of the companies that have put in proposals are large. They're local companies. They're not located out in Canada or California, etc. But this company's proposal was pretty vague.
Mitchell Schaefer, Brighton. My question is, are the proposals from these other management companies based on 3 property managers as we have now?
Yes.
I think that's a problem.
That's the minimum.
Okay, I think that's a problem. But anyway, I'm not on the committee.
But again, the presidents, and Mitch is the president of Brighton, the presidents will be able to interview the remaining candidates. It might be 2, at least 2, if not 3.
Susan Ortsman, Preston. Can I ask what the big secret is and why can't we know?
Because we're in the middle of the proposals. We haven't even interviewed those people. Next week, 2 of them.
Okay, can I just say something?
Oh, go right ahead.
We're not going on TikTok or Facebook, and we're not going to say to anybody, oh, this company or that company is being interviewed. And I think I remember reading in the Cobrua a few names, but I just can't remember them, off. So what is the secret? Why can't we know?
All right. This meeting is being recorded. Okay? This meeting does go out.
I understand what you mean now. I do understand what you mean now.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. I just want to say that the committees are really doing a fantastic job. And they should really be applauded for all the hard work. There's a lot goes into it. There's several meetings that they go to, and there's just a lot involved. Carolyn, I think the Cobrua group.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. Coming up in February is an election for the Cobrua group, and the election notice was in the November Cobrua Reporter. If you'll permit me, I'll read it just to make sure you all know what it says. There will be 3 open seats in the Cobrua Group Board in February of 2025. The term in office is 2 years, from February 2025 to February 2027. Election procedures and eligibility are governed by the Cobrua Group Bylaws, Article 9. The declaration of intent to run is due by December 10th, 2024. If you want to become a candidate, please email your notice of intent to, and the email is cobragroup2028@gmail.com by close of business on December 10th. If you miss the December 10th date, nominations will be taken from the floor at the January 14th, 2025 Cobrua Delegates Meeting. The election will be held at the February 11, 2025 Cobrua Delegates Meeting. Positions are open to any permanent resident who is a unit owner of record. A permanent resident is defined as a person who has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year and is either a member of the Cobrua Executive Board or a director of a constituent member condominium association of Cobrua. So if you find yourself interested in putting yourself forward for the Cobrua group, I have the forms here, and please come see me at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Okay. Is there a question?
Yes.
Can you stand up, please? It makes it so much easier if I could see. And just announce yourself.
My name is Linda Rosenthal from Executive C. Is an alternate also eligible to run for a delegate?
Linda, I'm sorry, your question is an alternate delegate?
Yes.
So being able to sit here in the seat, no, that does not qualify for the Cobrua board.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking the question.
Excuse me, Charlie?
Yes, go ahead.
I may request to either go out of turn or go later out of turn. Somebody has to go for a little walk. So would you like me to go now, or would you like me to, when we come back? That's part of the report.
You can go.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else? Okay, we're gonna do the security report. Is Chief Jody available?
Good morning. My name is Jody with United Security, and I'm here to present the report for October 2024. For miles patrol, we have 5,990. Pre-authorized calls, 6,735. We have 832 contractors, 6 welfare checks, 3 elevator malfunctions. We had 0 fires, 6 auto accidents. We had 62 ID violations. That was 43 at the gates and 19 at the clubhouse. Any questions?
I have a question. Jody, you said there was no fires, and I happen to know there was a fire at Mansfield.
That's for November.
Oh, that's for November, okay.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. My name is Alvin from Financial. So this is the third time I'm asking you. You know,
Yes, I did speak with administration, and she said for now, we will not be disclosing that information for privacy for the family and the resident, but security will continue to do welfare checks.
well, what about the other residents who live there weren't custody of the director of the building? So aren't they deserve to know? It doesn't have to be the day of.
Yeah, I did speak with her about that. She said if you have any further questions, see her.
Sure, you will convey this, or you want me to see her?
Whichever one you want, I can speak to her
convey it.
again. Okay,
Make
no
it
problem.
officially, it's on the record, and it's regarding if anyone died with it as a director, I should be notified. All right.
Any other questions?
Julie, excuse me, Julie, it's like Dorset. I don't have a question, but I think it's very important that you explain here the improvement that we've seen with the number of contractors that are being called in versus what was not being called in. I've seen some numbers as a member of the M&O, and I'm incredibly impressed with the progress that's been made. And I think it's important that you let everybody know how major league it is.
Yeah, before this new system we have with the scanners and ABDI, the auto call-ins, we usually would receive 6,000 to 7,000 per month. Since we've implemented the new system, we have a higher percentage of residents calling in their contractors, their Ubers, all across the board. The numbers are down by over 5,000. So we do appreciate the residents that are taking the time to learn the auto system and using it because it has been helpful at the gates. Go ahead.
I'm going to correct you because you didn't give yourself enough credit. Your numbers are down, or our numbers are down over 7,500 due to the calls that have been made ahead of time. 7,500 reduction is incredible.
Thank you. Also, we are having a few issues when it comes to the gates. We have residents that are going into the decal lane in their Ubers, and they don't have a decal. They're using rental cars, going into Ubers, and they're using their driver's license and expecting security to open the gate automatically just by telling us that they live here, which we can't do. So that intends holds the lineup in the residence lane, and we are turning residents around. We don't like to do it, but we are doing it for safety, just to ensure that 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 lane keeps flowing and we know who's coming into the village. Keep in mind that because the address is on your license means that you still live here. So we have to make sure that residents are coming in the village the right way. Also, one more thing, the residents that are using the tennis courts and the pickleball courts, please be reminded that you have to have on a shirt. There is no smoking or drinking. You cannot have your bicycles or scooters on the court, and you cannot use your personal chairs inside of the court. We're having issues with that as well in the afternoon, so we're asking residents to please not be on the courts half dressed and using bicycles and scooters.
Martin Fish from Rexford. So this is just a suggestion. More than once, I've tried to go through with the decal through for residents, and what you find are people who don't have a decal. They come into the resident lane, and then they try to cut in. They pull up, and then they cut into the visitors lane. I think those people should be turned around as well, because the fact is they're holding up traffic all the way and waiting till they can cut in. So I think if the people there see it, they should just turn them around when they get there. Thank you.
One second, you said they come into the residence lane, then go over to the visitors lane?
That's correct.
I'll look into that. The ones that we're turning around are the ones that go into the residence lane and try to get in without a decal.
Well, the other day I found it as I described it.
I'll look into that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Concerning the pools, I'm sorry. Mildred Say, Mansfield G. I've had a question about people that no longer lives here, but still have the decal to come in and they using the pool. How is the decal no longer usable? How do you know that they still live here?
When the residents move, their decal gets deactivated from the ID office. If a resident that used to live here, we all know that when you live in a gated community, people build rapport and friendships are made. So if I'm your neighbor and I move and you call me in and we're at the pool, I'm still a guest of yours, so I'm allowed in because you invited me in. So when residents do leave Central Village, their decals get deactivated. But if they're a guest of someone and they're called in, we cannot stop them from coming in and using the facilities because they're with the person who invited them.
I understand what you are saying, but I was told as a director, the person moved and wasn't invited by anyone. And the decal is still there so that they can come in and use our amenities.
No, decals get deactivated by the ID office when they move from the village. And their IDs are taken as well.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
Well,
if you know someone, you can bring it to our attention, that's no problem. But decals are deactivated by Jeannie in the ID office. She does a great job with deactivating decals.
So if that question comes up to me again, how do I handle that? What do I do in the moment?
If the person is at the pool at the time, you can reach out to security. We'll come over, get their ID, and check the system as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question in the back, Bertha.
Just quick and related to that, they do sometimes miss it. If you do,
Stand up,
yep.
introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry, Diana Stilwell from Cornwall. They do sometimes not deactivate it. So if you think that their car thing is still activated and shouldn't be, go to the not security, but the office here in the back and tell them, and they can look it up. And if it hasn't been deactivated, then they will look into it and take care of it. I've done it before.
Yes, that's with you knowing who the person is. But in her case, if she doesn't know, this is why I suggest her contacting security for us to come up. Jeannie's not going to drive to the pool, but we will come up, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Fred Hadley, Cornwall E. Jody, my question has to do with safety on our pedestrian/bicycle paths. I ride a bicycle, I have a 10-speed, people-powered, no motor, and I'm passing e-bikes all the time on that path. Does Century Village have any policy allowing motorized vehicles, specifically e-bikes, skateboards, and scooters? You know, the kids stand on these stand-up scooters. Are these motorized vehicles supposed to be on the pedestrian bicycle path? And if not, what are you doing about signage or painting things on the pavement to let people know? Because I'm passing like one a day on average.
This is the first time that we've heard that this is happening. We know it used to happen before and it stopped, but they're not supposed to be on that lane. If you do see it, reach out to us, and I will also speak with administration to see if they have anything in mind as far as signs and pavements and things of that sort.
Right, and while we're on the subject of signs, I did hear the recommendation from the M&O report about smoking under the walkway canopies that lead from the front of the clubhouse to either parking lot. I think we need signage there. People come out of the shows, they've been sitting there for 90 minutes without a nicotine fix. As soon as they get under that canopy, they're lighting up. If you're following them, it's secondhand cigarette smoke. It's dangerous. Please consider putting signs at either end of those pedestrian walkways in front of the clubhouse.
I'll speak with administration, but we do have a smoking area that security directs residents to go to when we do see that happening. And we do speak with the residents to remind them of the rules as well when that happens.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
Any other questions?
Okay, Dr. Garzanetti, Fanshawe Association B building. In January, I'll start my 6th year of living here. Over the last 5 years, there have been times when I haven't had a car. I've just had a motorcycle, or even 2 motorcycles as my primary means of transportation. And over that 5-year period, I have been refused a decal. And I am sick of waiting in the non-resident line, the visitor's line, in the rain, in the heat, to get into this community when I am a resident, an owner. And that is unacceptable. Something needs to be worked out.
That is not a security issue, that is administration. I would recommend you speaking with administration or filling out a suggestion in the back by security or information, and they can go from there. Security.
Isn't this body to be an intermediary to the administration for us?
It is, but at the same time, you're asking security a question as to why this is not enough. Well, Mr. Siegel will answer you.
I made a note on that. We'll bring it up.
Thank you.
I thought we were supposed to do this at good welfare.
Well, now she's just going to leave. This is Lori Rosner, Newcastle A. I just have a question. I know that the tennis courts and pickleball courts are supposed to open at 8 o'clock. And the pickleball people have been very good. They start at 8 o'clock, but every day the tennis people are getting a few minutes earlier. And then what happens is the next group gets a little earlier, and oh, we could come at 5 to, we could come at 10 to 8, and then, you know, so I would like to know who to checks on the fact that people should not be playing until 8 o'clock, because those of us who live over those courts hear the sound all day long. You don't really need to be, intruded upon earlier than 8 o'clock. So security drive by.
Yes, I'll have the rovers drive by. We do start opening in the mornings, just in case rain or things of that sort, because there are 16 pools as well. So we open a little early, but I'll have them drive by to make sure no one's there until 8. You're welcome.
Mildred Say, Mansfield G. I have another question about decals. How many decals do you issue out for one owner? Because I see some owners have about 4 or 5 cars. Do you approve all those cars with decals?
That's the ID office. You can speak with Jeannie on your way out, and she'll speak with you. Security, we don't work with decals. The ID office does.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, hold on, Bertha. Ted has a question here.
I can answer this young lady's question. Depending on the size of the unit, there is a restriction as to how many people can live in that unit. For instance, a 2-bedroom apartment is only allowed to have 3 people. That means that 3 registered vehicles to that apartment. Smaller apartments have only 2 people allowed to live in them. So that means 2 registered vehicles. You can't have more than that. Does that answer your question? So a 2-bedroom, you're allowed to have 3 people living in. You're allowed to have 3. It's 3. Yeah, they could all have a car.
Hey, Bertha, you had a question over here.
Just comment to Jody, you start the meeting each month, you start the meeting with a whole list of items. And I wanted to say,
Please let Ted go up here, please, stop chatting.
I want to say when you have that list that you start with of items, that you say how much of this and how much of that, I was going to say we should probably be more interesting if you compared it with the previous month. But on the other hand, none of those things get discussed. So maybe we should go right past that and find out what people want to talk about.
Okay. Any other questions?
I had a medical appointment this morning, so I came in late. So if this question was asked before, I'll just put it down. But I have a stone screen, you know, the ones that are original in the lanai, where you have to lift them up and they roll up into the upper level. And I can't lift them at my age. And I tried to get information, and I went to First Services, and they says, we can't give you any information because we're afraid of getting sued. So if somebody's got an idea where I look to get someone, I'm not going to hold them liable, but I can't lift that screen off the floor. Once it's up about 2 feet or 3 feet, it's okay. Does anybody after the show here can provide me with that? I'll appreciate it.
I'm not sure if that was a security question.
Okay,
As for security, we're not permitted in the unit.
Okay, that's actually an association question, so you're out of order right now. So let's move on. Are there any other questions?
This is a security question.
Sabora Pollock, Cornwall A. The question I have is in terms of the decals, if people are being issued decals for different health aides that are coming in, and it could be in a shift, you may have 3 different health aides, and from just knowing from other people, it's a very big turnover. And if somebody is not so well, are they able to notify the ID office that, okay, so-and-so is no longer working, please deactivate, now activate this? I'm not sure how that procedure works in terms of health aides that are just coming and going.
For residents that aren't able to come to the clubhouse, they usually do call. Gina does accommodate those residents over the phone.
But do they really, in essence, call over the phone? I mean, some people are very, not well and may not be able to make those calls. So the question is there any system where you'll see, wow, this person's got, 5 decals out or 6 decals out for AIDS? Are they all current?
No, they do call, the ones that can. If they can't call, the ones that have emergency contacts, they do call, because they call the security. We recommend them calling Genie. We'll transfer them over, and the ID information desk does the same. For as much decals, that's their department, but from what I know, from what I'm experiencing, we have residents and emergency contacts that are calling to letting us know that they're not allowed in.
Mona Lloyd Dorset. To answer your question, ma'am, from the understanding I have from what we've heard with the M&O committee, how aides, now a nurse is one thing, but an aide, as far as we've been told, does not get a decal. So if there's aides out there with decals, then that's a problem. So the aide, for the very reason you explained, because there's so much turnover, I could have aide A today and aide B tomorrow, we would not, from what I understand, we've been told that they do not get decals.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, we're going to move on to old business. Is there any old business to be discussed? We're not, Ed's yeah, we're not discussing bylaws today. Okay, because Ted doesn't have a report. I already spoke to him earlier in the week, and he doesn't have a report. So next month we'll discuss bylaws. Old business, any old business? Any new business? Oh, over here?
Charles Holnick, Exeter B. The day after Hurricane Milton, Century Village lost power on 4 separate occasions. I called up FPL, and the only explanation I got is we were placed on an extended grid, and they said that our power was fine, but they had to shut down our power to take care of an incident 20 miles away. That seems unacceptable. We used to be on the same grid as the policemen and firemen. So my question is, can we get somebody in authority, either on one of the boards or our local politicians, to call up, find out why we were taken off the grid with the policemen and firemen, at least get an explanation, and to find out whether we can be put back on that grid again.
Hi, this is Carolyn Haynes. I would like to thank everyone who participated in the Veterans event last Thursday. This comes under old business. I think everyone had a wonderful time. We wanted to make sure that we celebrated our veterans. I want to give a shout out and thanks to all of the Century Village volunteers who assisted with this program, and I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Thank you all for those who attended. We certainly appreciate the fact that we showed pride for our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, for all your hard work and to make it possible.
Can I get an answer to my question?
Charlie, this gentleman asked a very, very good question, and for some reason he didn't get any response at all.
Okay,
Right.
can you repeat the question, please?
Oh,
Okay, again, the day after Hurricane Milton, Century Village lost power on 4 separate occasions. I kept a record of it. After the third time, I was disgusted. I called up FPL, and the explanation I was given is that we were placed on an extended grid. We used to be on the same grid as the policemen and firemen right over here. So it was very difficult for us to lose power unless there was a major incident. And when I complained about it, they said, well, I don't know. I'll just take the complaint. But they explained to me that in order to restore power for an area that was 20 miles away from us, they had to shut down our power because we were connected to an extended grid. So my question is, can we have somebody either on one of the boards or one of the local politicians, I don't know whose authority it is, maybe the mayor, maybe a local assemblyman, call up, find out why we were taken off the grid for the policemen and firemen, whether we could be put back on the grid again. We have residents here who depend on electronic devices and really can't afford to lose power for any extended amount of time, especially when it's avoidable.
Thank you for your question, and as a member of the MNO, I will make sure it's brought up at the next MNO meeting, and we will get an answer for you as to why we were eliminated. And again, we're getting that second and third hand, but we will check out the whole story and hopefully get back to you with an answer the next month. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it. But again, this is what I was told by somebody in FPL.
I have a question, and I don't know if Sid, you know, or Stanley, but do we have an FPL rep that we could actually call?
Dan Cruz handles the problems with FPNL.
Okay, gotcha. Any other old business? New business? Okay, good and welfare for delegates.
Dan Tanzer, Ainsley. I have a question about the MNO decision-making vis-a-vis the budget and projects. So at this point, is it fair to say that the budget for the 2025 year has been completed?
The answer is yes, and the latest Cobrua report had a summary of what was in the budget.
In terms of
Projects.
my question is...
There's a detailed item in the Cobrua report
I saw that.
showing you what the budget is.
Yes, but does it show what the projects, the budget is being spent on? In other
Right now,
words-
management is working on a schedule showing, which I will eventually get, or the committee will get, showing us what projects are going to be done by month. And we'll have to
So
report.
has that been determined yet? And why, regardless of the...
In the budget,
May I ask my question? At this point, the budget is made up of the sum of, among other things, the projects anticipated being done. So it seems to me that you know, may I finish? It seems to me that you know what the projects are, even if you don't have a schedule of when each project is going to be done. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're waiting, we have a number of projects that we're going to be doing for this year, which we spoke about previously when we had the budget meeting, or we spoke about the budget, and we will get a schedule and go month by month as to which ones are going to be done.
So you don't know yet what the projects are that are gonna be done this year? Or
Yes,
is
we
that?
do. We
So
itemized
you
the
do-
budget at previous meetings.
You do know what the projects are, but you don't know exactly when.
Yeah, we're waiting for a schedule as to when each project will be done.
But you know what they are.
We
I didn't ask you
what they
when.
are.
I'm
Yeah, the
asking
answer
you-
is, we explained it at a previous meeting.
Can you inform me now whether or not you know what projects are going to be done?
Yes.
Why isn't that available? Without the schedule.
It was
Without the
It
schedule.
was made available at a previous meeting where we itemized what we're doing for this year's budget. We're going around in circles.
Well,
You are.
So where was that presented? Was that in a Cobrua issue?
No, that was at a previous M&O meeting when I explained the budget for the year.
But you explained it to the committee?
I explained it to the audience.
So that should be in the minutes somewhere.
It should be.
Do you know what month? I don't recall ever seeing a list of approved projects. So what, let me ask the recording secretary, is it in the minutes?
It's not a list, 1, 2, 3, it's a narrative. And in a paragraph, it says, this year we are going to do, and then it lists all the things on it.
Do you know what month that is? I don't recall ever seeing that.
Could have been last month, could have been 2 months ago, I don't know.
Probably was last month's.
Well, one thing we can do, we can ask them quickly to see.
While you're doing that, that's my question, so I'll yield the floor.
So for example, painting or sealing of the bricks in front of the clubhouse. Backflows stage of the water pump project. New felt on the pool table. New felt on the pool tables. Hold on. Okay, and now selling decals for guests' cars. Smaller, softer shopping carts made available. Sales of units, coupon increase. The wall on Lyons Road, which is not really a road, it's more or less shrubbery and other landscaping. The North Rear, which is in Lake Windermere, not too far from where Hythe and Lincoln are. Pool renovations, and the pools are done a few at a time, not all at once. And then various, the discussion of the front bricks and so forth.
So is that a complete list?
And I could probably go back to October and see another narrative about what was planned at that time.
Are these this public knowledge for delegates or residents to know what the projects are that are going to be done this year? Yes or no? That's everything.
I don't know. I will go through the budget again, and next month's report, I will itemize everything, which I did before. So we're going around in circles, be patient, and you will learn everything that we're going to do, period.
I don't know. But it doesn't sound like the complete list, no.
Nothing is secret. We itemize everything we're doing. I explained why we have a 7.
Microphone.
Unfortunately.
Thank you.
What did you call me?
I didn't say anything.
I heard it.
Okay, is there any other good and welfare from delegates?
Yeah, Diana Stillwell, Cornwall. In relation to his question, I haven't seen pickleball courts on there at all. Is that on the budget for 2025? Can I ask a direct question? Yes? No?
Pickleball courts, we spoke about.
Can't
Pickleball
hear
courts
you.
aren't on the
Give the
Cobrua, they're not on
microphone.
that list that we just read. I haven't seen it on there at all.
we're doing is we're switching.
Microphone! Yoo-hoo! Electricity was invented 100 years ago.
Oh, come on, be respectful.
I figured I'd be specific, that's something I'm interested in, and I don't see it on here, I haven't seen it anywhere.
What we're doing is, since there's a request for more pickleball courts,
Right.
we're gonna be switching the pickleball courts to the main area over here and giving the tennis people more tennis courts where the pickleball area is.
Okay, well, that's what I understood from rumors going around, but I actually haven't seen anything in writing. You just said that was all-inclusive. I want to make sure pickleball courts are on there.
And we took care of pickleball.
Okay, good, thanks.
I think Mona will verify it.
Well, I know. That's my other source.
Is that it? Okay, good and welfare residents. Pardon? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Fred Hadley, Cornwall E. I received a robocall yesterday. Call ID said First Service Residential, and the text of the call was something to the effect that it's a friendly reminder that we're having a Cobrua meeting today. Obviously, the robocall didn't really draw too many extra people, but my question is this. Why is Sen West, or why isn't Sen West using a robocall system? Now, I've seen one or two cases recently where general notices, like about the hurricane, et cetera, and closings, went out through First Service. Now, I can understand an emergency, if they don't have a robocall system, First Service pitches in, okay, that's fine. But is this now a routine thing? Is First Service now making robocalls to the entire village, which I would think would be a management discretion? Just to finish my question, also First Service does not represent all 16 associations. So I want to know, does Dorset get those calls? If not, that's a serious omission. And the other thing is, if people consented to First Service to receive phone calls through a robo-dial system, does that permission automatically transfer to Sen West? So what can you tell us about a robocall system?
What I could tell you that we're doing is I specifically asked First Service to provide robocalls and just let us know when the meetings are. There's no other reason, but I'm trying to expand the membership to get more people that are interested in coming to the meetings.
Well, that's a very good goal, but you didn't answer the question about Dorset. Are they included in those robocalls?
I truthfully don't know. I would have to look into that.
It's the third largest association. And
I understand.
no. Thank you very kindly.
Take care.
John Garzaniti, Fanshawe, B building. Probably everybody's noticed on page 51 of the Cobrua Reporter that there's a listing of clubs in the village, right? There is a formal process if you want to form a new club. That formal process exists so that that club could use the clubhouse facilities, once a month for a monthly meeting, as an example, right? So I'm in the process, and there's an announcement in the Cobrua Reporter this month of forming a Century Village Motorcycle Club, right? We're still looking for additional members. You must have at least 10 members in order to form a club according to the official rules. So I'm still looking for additional members, and I hope that people will see the announcement or catch me with the flyer if interested. We are offering $10 Publix gift cards to people. If they want to become a member of the Century Village Motorcycle Club, you have to own a motorcycle or have a motorcycle endorsement on your driver's license.
Lori Rosner, Newcastle A. I just need to express my real serious dismay by the way the people refuse to answer questions directly here. This gentleman in the red hat, Diane, asked a question and they had to ask it numerous ways, numerous times for you to give a direct answer. I myself have written three different times in the last years, 3 different letters at the same time to this committee, the M&O committee, to the president, to Judy Millington, 3 different times asking things. Nobody ever responds to anything. Everything's very secretive, very avoiding the answer. Why couldn't you just say what the projects were? Why couldn't you just say to Diane, it was already decided? Why isn't it listed in there? I said, I resent very much that I'm a resident, that I pay in HOA, and you guys up there say things and it's like pulling teeth to find out what we're entitled to know. And I resent it.
Thank you.
David Levy, RMFA, a couple questions. One, we have an incident ongoing in Yarmouth. A unit was purchased at a tax auction without any knowledge by the directors or I understand First Service. And in talking to the person that purchased it, she was advised by her attorney that any monies that were owed get wiped out with our tax auction. There's monies owed to Yarmouth Association. I believe since the taxes weren't paid, regular association dues weren't paid as well. So if that legal response that I received is correct, both the association and First Service are out of monies for that. The individual is looking to do work in the unit, and if it was in my situation, I wouldn't give them permission until they settled whatever was outstanding, even though they may not be legally operated. We do have that control. So there should be something in the system that the associations, or at least First Service, gets notified when a property is going up for auction. And I don't know if it's legislative. I previously, in a different life, headed a homeowners association in a different state. We had an arrangement with the tax authorities. If something was coming up for auction, we would get notified and have the ability to step in, provide assistance, or make it known so that you don't get a speculator, which is what we have here, picking up an apartment, looking to renovate it, and then we get lost in the shuffle. The other item, and if I can just impose for a minute, we keep getting mail from FPL or an FPL subsidiary about signing up for insurance protection for outside items that really have nothing to do with the unit. And in the past, this has occurred, and notices went out that people don't have any responsibility. But I think a lot of our residents get this letter, they think it's from FPL, and they wind up signing up for these monthly contributions for protection that would never be used. And I just think as a public service, we should notify the residents that what they're looking to insure you for is not something that would be under the responsibility of an individual unit owner.
Charlie, can I answer?
Yes, go ahead, Stan.
Whenever the question came up about these FPL letters, my comment was always throw them away because it has no effect on us. But we did bring it up at various meetings, so the answer was always throw away the letter.
No, I understand, but my concern is on behalf of the people that don't come to the meeting or don't hear the knowledge to throw it away, wind up signing up for it, and they're spending money that they may not really need. So I think if we do something in the Cobrua or something other than just say it doesn't apply to you, throw it away, so that people wouldn't do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm more concerned about the first question of property being sold and whatever monies are owed not being paid.
Yeah, hello. This is Russell Resnick from Yarmouth E. And I wanted to talk about the process where they're interviewing different management companies, including First Services. And I wanted to ask is the man who's spoke before, you're here, hi. Are you planning to get effectively references, talk to other associations that are using those management companies? Or are you just going to work off their bid? Oh no, I can't give up my.
I'll give you the mic as soon as I finish, I promise. The 4 companies, I should say 3 companies, because First Service is here already, but the 3 other companies are highly recommended. I happen to be on the Cobrua committee, and Peter Sachs, who is helping us with the entire purchase of the village, I asked him at one of the meetings if he could recommend, since he has been involved in Florida institutions and politics for quite some time, if he could recommend to us 3 legitimate companies, what he did between him and his partner. Those 3 companies, one would say they're pre-qualified already, but there are on the proposals, if I remember correctly, all of the HOAs that they currently run. We wouldn't accept, and it'll come up at the actual interview process. This was just a proposal that was submitted, and while Sid Schwartz and myself did have a mini interview with all of the companies to prepare them for what we're looking for, the committee will be meeting within the next week 2 of those companies, and then the following week, I think it's the 25th of November, the 3rd company. So we will go into an in-depth interview on their qualifications again, even though it's listed on their proposals.
The only reason I wanted to ask, I have a really loud voice, everyone.
Can't hear her.
Because my son owns a condo in a building managed by one of those other companies. And I would just like to say that the amount of information that company gives to the homeowners is unbelievable compared to what we
in Yarmouth get from First Services. Every meeting is on Zoom, and even the people on Zoom can talk. And it's every, not just the main meetings, but it's all the sub-meetings when they're discussing, even, they just redid the building, how to put up the new, the pavement around the pool, this and that. Every committee that was handling one aspect of it was on Zoom. So, and then of course they posted the next day, the minutes of that meeting. I mean, I just can't even talk enough about the amount of information that was given by that company. Okay.
Well, I don't know what company you.
Okay, well, thank you. We're going to take it under advisement.
There are differences. We are aware of the other companies that are out there, and the 2 other companies that are coming in, other than First Service, are very proactive, which is similar to what you are now saying to us here.
Okay, yeah, we'll take it under advisement. Okay, someone make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second? Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.